Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. The debate on whether Chamisa should be held to account is raging on. Here is one of the latest videos circulating on social media on the issue.
Are Zimbabwean private citizens. And they are also complicit with every Zimbabwean on the failure to respond to the SADC SEOM report. So them blaming Chamisa for doing nothing is hypocrisy and double standard. The struggle for democracy is not an individual effort, but a collective effort. Why then should we lay a blame at one person's feet, especially the one that has resigned from active politics? No one is talking about Zanu PF. No one is talking about how Zanu PF used the weak Chivhayo to print ballot papers and conduct an election heist. No one is talking about how weak Chivhayo went on to be used as a vessel of power consolidation by Nelson Mnangagwa through bribing of the SADC president. Why is no one asking questions? When weak Chivhayo roamed the whole of SADC distributing bribes in US dollars, no one is talking about an election heist which Chabangu and Watchman Nube conducted with the help of Zanu PF.
I think we can go on and on on this one. The point here is, our friend is missing here, is that as much as no one can deny that Zanu PF rigged the elections, that individuals like Chivhayo played a role in the rigging of the elections. No one can deny that as individual citizens, we too have got a responsibility to make sure that elections are free, fair, and credible. But that is not the point here. The point here is Nelson Chamisa is an elected public official. And he played a very significant role in getting us into this mess. That is the substantive issue. And that is what must be addressed. To argue that we cannot hold Nelson Chamisa to account until we have held Zanu PF to account, we have held Chivhayo to account, we have held Hopewell and Ibo Mantasa to account, is the most fallacious argument you can have. This is tantamount to saying we cannot arrest a thief and try him until we've arrested all the thieves out there. Chamisa is an elected public official. All this hype is for one purpose and one purpose only, that Chamisa should not be held to account. That is totally unacceptable. Chamisa has been elected by the people of Zimbabwe. They risked lives, livelihoods, and limbs to elect MDC CCC members into positions of power and authority.
So Opo Chungono and Ibo Mandasa are Zimbabwean private citizens.
So to keep on hopping on and on about he should not be held to account is totally unacceptable. People risked lives and limbs to elect him into public office. He must account for what he did. If you think Zanu PF has got something to account for, please go ahead. But we cannot say that we cannot hold Chamisa to account until we've held everybody else to account. The people of Zimbabwe, let me emphasize this point, have risked lives, livelihoods, and limbs to elect the MDC Triple C to implement democratic changes to stop Zanu PF rigging elections. 24 years down the line, including 5 years in the GNU, not even one token reform has been implemented. Of course, the people have the right to hold those they elected. They elected MDC Triple C, not.
So, Opo Chungono and Ibo Mandaza.
I keep having this video playing over and over again. I'm sorry about that. To keep on repeating that we cannot hold those we elected for a specific purpose to account is ridiculous. People elected MDC Triple C to implement the reforms. They did not elect Zanu PF or Chivhayo or the individual citizen to implement reforms. They elected these public officials. And now, 24 years down the line, not even one token reform implemented. To say we cannot hold them to account is ridiculous, totally unacceptable. No. If I had a charge sheet, there are many things that Chamisa and company must account for. And these are just three of the things that they must account for. Zanu PF has blatantly rigged 2023 elections because MDC Triple C have failed to implement even one token reform in 24 years, including 5 in the GNU. 2, Chamisa and company have been participating in flawed elections, knowing fully well that Zanu PF was rigging and that participating would give the regime legitimacy. They've gone ahead regardless, out of greed. Surely they must account for that. 3, Chamisa last year lied about plugging all the voting.
So, Opo Chungono and Ibo Mandaza are Zimbabwean private citizens. And they are also complicit with every Zimbabwean on the failure to respond to the SADC SEOM report. So,
sorry about that. It keeps coming back like a nightmare. And so the third point is he lied about plugging the vote rigging loopholes when he knew he had not done any such thing. Those are serious issues that must be addressed. What is even more important here, the gentleman is arguing here that, oh, Chamisa should not be held to account after 4 years resigned from politics. Well, we know that after the MDC alliance fiasco, where he ended up losing the party to Madam Coupe and Monzora, he staged a comeback to form Triple C and participated in the 2023 elections. I think there are no prices for guessing that he may stage a comeback this time again and participate in the 2028 elections. But even if it doesn't, it is important to hold those who have done something as treasonous, as failing, as betraying the people's trust to account, so that no one else will repeat the same mistake. We can't let him escape accountability by pretending that I'm no longer in politics. I no longer represent any political party. I've resigned my position. Yes, you may have resigned your position, but you still must account for enticing people to participate in a flawed elections out of greed. The issue of greed is well documented. Why some of these Chamisa Chete brigade want to pretend that they don't know it beggars belief. Of course, we should not be naive to think that those who are supposedly coming out to defend Chamisa are all genuine opposition members. Zanu PF has got an invested interest in making sure that politicians like Chamisa remain on the political stage. Because, like it or not, MDC has done a great service to Zanu PF in helping with the regime all these years. And therefore, then the regime cannot afford the luxury of letting these people lose credibility, because if they did, come 2028, Chamisa will not be able to con people, millions of them as he did last year, to participate in 2028. And if people do not participate in their millions, Zanu PF will lose political legitimacy. I repeat, if Zimbabweans had not participated in last year's elections in their millions, SADC, given the damning report they produced about those elections, would have been under enormous pressure to deny Zanu PF legitimacy. As it happened, Zimbabweans participated in their millions. That is a reality that some Zimbabweans can choose to ignore, but that is a political reality that we must deal with. And in this particular case, we must also deal with the fact that SADC gave MDC leaders the opportunity to implement reforms to end Zanu PF, to stop Zanu PF rigging the elections. And for 5 years, they failed to implement even one token reform. Zimbabweans have got to deal with that political reality. I repeat, Chamisa and its MDC CCC friends are elected public officials. They are, per se, accountable to the people of Zimbabwe. Hopewell and Ibo Mandaza are part of that people of Zimbabwe. And those who are questioning why Hopewell and Ibo Mandaza are saying Chamisa should account for his failures are missing the point completely. Focus on the substantive issues and stop talking about trivial issues. We are not going to be held to ransom and say we must hold everybody else who could have had any part at all in the rigged elections to account before we hold Chamisa to account. No. The people of Zimbabwe voted for Chamisa and company. They must hold Chamisa and company to account. And that is not negotiable. Thank you very much. Have a good day.